not like being the minstrel show for Rex to come through. And especially like one thing that I think stuck with me because I did go to Zulu this year, and it was like going to Mardi Gras for the first time, having some of the new knowledge that I have about the Zulu and the minstrel history. And so watching the parade from a different lens this year, I saw stuff like one float, all the white people were at the top part, and all the black people were at the bottom. And I mean, that's like so insignificant, right? But it's not. Like they paid to be where they were on the float. So just like little stuff like that shows that, and even like the second, I don't even go to second lines anymore because all you see like is consumption. Like they're consuming to go, and the spaces that black artists are not welcome, their art is not put, we don't get to commodify any of their things, and it's like everything that we have and we're doing is being consumed. We know about gentrification and all that. So just to go back to say that one moment, that one day where the black men and Zulu and even the women removing colorism and all the things that we put on top of ourselves outside of the supremacy, we're putting stuff on top of ourselves now. So to remove all of that would be like beautiful and empowering, and I think a representation of where we can go nationally.
I just wanted to say something real quick. Like, so me, you know, I've been in the city my whole life, my family, everybody. You know, you can hear all of my voices, I walk, talk, you know, everything I do, man. You know, I'm New Orleans through and through, and you know, live here my whole life. Probably gonna die here eventually, hopefully a long time from now. But so as I was out there on that neutral ground, you know, it was something that you know, it was hard, it was difficult for me to be out there because I know and rock with a bunch of dudes up in Zulu, you know, and you know, co-workers, family. You know, like even my mama had called and asked me, you know, what you was doing out there, you know what I'm saying? You know, because it's this thing of, you know, as we in the city and the gentrification happening, and you talk about like, you know, the reference point is like with Jesus, AD and BC or whatnot, it's like after Katrina, before Katrina, you know, and so like when I talk about New Orleans before Katrina, you know, like man, I was the white boy at all the schools I went to, you know, I was the white boy in the neighborhood, you know, that partner named White Mike, you know what I'm saying, about the same color as me, you know, we all black through and through. But it's like, you know, it was no white folks in this school, you know what I'm saying? It was no white folks in this neighborhood. You know, now I'm grown, you know, me and my queen, both teachers here in the city. We can't even afford a house in up in the neighborhood I grew up in my whole life. You know what I'm saying? They got houses going for $300,000 around there. You know, I can't afford nothing like that off a teacher's salary. So, you know, as I'm doing right with my people and, you know, trying to input everything it is that I got in me into the students I run across, you know, I know what that change and what that effect and why people were pissed off and what the impact and the visual was of it, you know what I'm saying? Because as you see the gentrification happening, you see the second lines being taken over, as you see Circle Food so fall under and whatnot, and you know, that was such a struggle and that really hit home hard today for me, you know what I'm saying? The fact of the matter that you got another you know, fucking white capitalist that's gonna come and take advantage of that situation. You know, he waited till it was all the way under, got it for one point, got it for the lowest price it could go. You know, he about to flip that and make millions of dollars now because of the, you know, influx of people that he's gonna get. And he's gonna be looked at as a savior and whatnot. And look what he did with his, you know what I'm saying, and totally flipping that narrative and not getting at the fact of the matter that, you know, our people built this city, man. You know, everything that you love about New Orleans, love is from the black folks. And so I understand, again, why people were mad and because they think it's an attack on Zulu itself, but it's the blackface in which we were getting at, you know, and that's the thing in which people need to focus on and realize that, you know, we're getting at the blackface, and like the sister was saying, Ivana was just now elaborating on the fact of the matter that if they was to come out there like warriors, you know what I'm saying, with the tribal face paint and really like put some empowerment into our people, you know, put some fear into the white folks and the oppressors that put that black face on you from the jump, you know what I'm saying? We shouldn't be taking on everything that the oppressor gave us. And from these last names to these street names that's all around here, we steadily venerating these folks, man. You know what I'm saying? I went to 3-5, went to McDonald's 35. So it's like, and I tell people that, you know, I'm uplifting a slave owner, man. He's the largest slave owner in all Louisiana. But if you let them tell it, oh, he was the biggest philanthropist that built all these schools for these black kids. You know, I think white supremacy surrounds us constantly. When we talk about Win Dixie, you know what I'm saying? Dixie Bill, they try to sell you as New Orleans Bill. No, it ain't, man. You know, it ain't no bill, nothing that we rock with. That's, you know, again, another way to perpetuate white supremacy within your, you know, commonality, within your just everydayness, you know what I'm saying, to where it's just second nature, and you don't understand the ramifications of it, but it affects us and it hits home when we look at Tamir Rice, you know what I'm saying, a brother that they pulled up and shot him, you know, because, within 3 seconds or whatnot. That's just off of the strength, you know what I'm saying? Like, we get criminalized more. Like, when we think of criminals, the word criminal, if it puts this negative image in a black person in people's head, you think of drug dealer, you know, it puts that negative image of a black person in people's head. But, like, not for me, you know, because my mind is decolonized. I think a drug dealer, the biggest drug dealer in the world, the British Empire, you know what I'm saying? And the opium wars, and them getting the heroin from India and going to flip it to the folks in China, man, doping them out. So, like, with that education and the power of it, you know, it's decolonized my mind, and I'm free as I walk. And then, you know, I'm a tree now. I'm spreading my branches, and I'm hopefully, you know, these leaves are falling, and knowledge is being soaked in by all those that I come across. And so that's something that I advocate, and why we do the work that we do. You know, like we said, man, we got to educate, agitate, and organize. You know, and there's people that can get involved in this work. Whether you're on the educational tip, or whether you want to go out in the streets, whether you want to be on like some legislation stuff, or whether you want to just be door to door, going to people's porches and talking. They got small things that you can be doing, got big things that you can be doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is something that we just got to wake up our folks, be consistent about it, and give them an end goal. Like, let them paint a picture for them, let them see something, you know, that's beyond the everydayness, that's beyond just what was directly in their face. Because, you know, as you're dealing with what's that saying about, they say that the oppressed takes on the worst forms of the oppressor, you know, and so it's like, man, they got healing work that needs to be done, you know what I'm saying, tremendous healing work that needs to be done. But they also got that fight back, you know what I'm saying, that push, you know, and like letting them know that you ain't scared, you know what I'm saying, letting them know that you're going to speak freely, you know what I'm saying, letting them know that you're going to speak your mind, you know, like you ain't going to just bow down, you ain't going to cower or quiver, you know what I'm saying, you're going to stand up, you're going to rise, you're going to fight, and we're going to win this. So, you know, just want to send out some love to y'all, and thank y'all for coming in. Like, we got to keep this up, man, keep this going. You know, I don't make this no one-time thing. So, you know, much love to y'all.
Thank you. Happy to see people out here, at least some, that are inquisitive enough to come out here and try to get to a point where they're taking on some more knowledge. But for me, I like to just, since it's about white supremacy, and I like to talk about an area where education and agitation really needs to be out there. And because it's such a sensitive area for our people, I like to just put it out there on the floor about an area where we need to unite and form and gather more information and get back in touch with our culture and who we really are. And I'm talking about the area of religion, because the doctrine that most of us fall under and follow is not ours. And through that programming, we got so much work to do in deprogramming bullshit that's been put out there for us. As the brother started off with saying about how we were taught this language and this document that we follow, until we get to a point where we can reconnect to who we are, it's gonna be the same shit. And you know, I know that area of religion is deep, because I'm, you know, I was raised up to be a Christian, you know, but for me, I've done some research and some studying and soul searching on Christianity, and I tell you, if you really want to get your spirit shook up, do some searching on the religious doctrine that we have been forced to accept and adopt. And I tell you, the more studying and research I do, the angrier I get. And, you know, in the words of Brother Malcolm, you know, we've been had, we've been hoodwinked, we've been run amok, and I tell you, you need to get engaging in conversations in that area for our people that you've been miseducated, you've been lied to, and I just wanted to put that out there for conversation and dialogue that you can take home with you. Thank you.
I want to thank you for offering that, and the reason I want to thank you for offering that is because Take Them Down NOLA, and let me say these words all the way out. Take Them Down NOLA exists for the purpose of removing all symbols, watch where I'm going, symbols to white supremacy from the landscape of New Orleans as a much necessary part of the struggle toward racial and economic justice. Now, we're talking about symbols because we understand that these symbols, to include blackface, which is a symbol, is representative of the system that we live in. And the mere fact that we even bring up blackface got people hot and bothered, right? The mere fact that you would bring up religion got people nervous, right? All we are saying is that at the end of the day, we understand that there's an unholy trinity. So whether we're talking about white supremacy, patriarchy, or capitalism, we understand that capitalism is using patriarchy and white supremacy to continually keep us all divided and sliced up so that we will not unify. So much so that all of the forms of oppression that have been put on us, that they had to use violence to keep us in place, they don't always have to use that violence because they've gotten so into our minds. We perpetuate it ourselves. We hold each other back, right? So what we're saying is that this agitation piece, this education piece, has to happen for us to have these kinds of conversations, to even entertain. So that when you say to me, I was born and reared in a Christian household, in a Christian church, going to Bible study on Wednesday, prayer service on Friday and Sunday, born as a Pentecostal Christian, and here you come asking me about my religion, like you can't even ask me before I'm ready to cut you off. And we're saying we do need to have conversations about all of it. Why? Because if it's worthy, if it's tradition and value that's worthy enough, it should be able to contend the conversation. I should be able to say and justify why I do what I do. But the issue around blackface, the reason it came up is because In 2019, when there's this global consciousness, you actually came out and tried to tell us that what we're seeing is not what we're seeing. So now, not only do you have this thing you're trying to justify, now you are blatantly lying and manipulating. So when we say we want schools with cultural competence, but the biggest day in the city where our children have to inherit little black figurine, gotta look at the black man, gotta look at the white man, deny me of the beads, and I know you white with the black face on. All this is going through, and we have our community saying, I know this is wrong, but don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. And then you mad that everybody's talking about it globally because we live in a social media time. Everybody got a cell phone, everybody wants to share. It's not contained to New Orleans anymore. So now you have to justify what you do, how you do. And it's one of these things where we have to ask ourselves, if we're going to fight so hard for something, can it be something in alignment with our highest good, nurturing our brilliance and our humanity so we can move forward and together? But it means it's okay, even as black folk, for us to disagree sometimes. Let's work through the disagreement so we can come out on the other side unified. Now, let me just continue with this, because some people had this, I'm going to answer these 3 questions, because some people whispered this in our ear and said, can we talk about this real quick? Number 1, folks were saying, well, it wasn't just that you talked about blackface, it's the way y'all did it. Y'all went out on the neutral gun. First of all, we did not go before the media. The Zulu went before the media and then asked, hey, what y'all think about this? We have been consistent. In 2016, we had a full-blown campaign about racism and Mardi Gras. We called out everything. The hoods, the black figurines, the Confederate beads that were being thrown, we called it out, and the blackface. It was everything across the board. When consciousness rises globally, nationally, and locally, and we are contending with an issue and it's a topic, we have to decide if you're going to take a stand or not. Are you going to retreat and feel some kind of way and be quiet about it? Or are you going to actually participate as an opportunity to move forward? Every single one of us as members of Taking Down NOLA, we know somebody in Zulu. I have only lived in Orleans Parish for the last 7 years of my life, going on year 8. 5 of those years is me being in people from Zulu faith, them talking to me about what the issue is. You remember in Zulu. If that's a problem, talk about it. So if Take Them Down NOLA has to take all these hits right now, so be it, because the conversation is being had. Yeah. And all it is a conversation. You get to decide what you're going to do with that conversation. But it's not the first time it's been a conversation. 65 and 66, the king came out without the blackface on. You decided to go back. Your financial manager came before the people and said, we tired of this, and I quote, we tired of this dignity stuff. We're going to go back to having fun. We say you can have fun. We can have fun without the blackface. But to answer your question, the question is, do we have enough courage to come out that way? Because we're so afraid somebody's going to take those little bit of points, but you're not using those points for good anyway. I'm going to cross my leg.
I like to ask something. How you guys doing first? My name is Robin Hart. Folks know me better at school, but I'm about Shira being here tonight. I'm part of an anti-racist network with the Young Racism Workshop. They told me Brother Melvin was up in the building. This was the meeting was about blackface as it relates to Zulu. I've been in the deal, but I had some other things to go. I already had to say never Zulu. Good to see you, Scott, different folks anyway. I'm a native of New Orleans. I just come back from Ghana. I'm working on a film that's related, similar to some of this conversation that's happening here. My film is called Africa in Me, The Sounds of Soul of New Orleans, right? And that has to do with Black marching bands and its contributions to the economy of New Orleans, Mardi Gras, all of those things, because that's a left-out puzzle in the conversation of the culture of New Orleans, right? I say that to say, the reason why I brought up Ghana is because some of the same things that I'm seeing here and that's happening here as it relates to blackface and this and that, but not blackface itself, but the culture, the masking itself. I found all of that stuff at home in Ghana. That's who we are, uniquely. What the difference is, we've been misled, we've been miseducated, and now we take on the masses image of who we are. Dressing up the mass is not something new to us.
That's right.
Genetic.
That's right. That's right.
You know, that's rooted in us. this is not the first time we've had this conversation. As you said, 65, 66 was a period we had this conversation. In the 80s, this conversation came to the surface again, and now it's back on the table today. And I'm glad it's on the table. Part of the problem is the folks who even represent Zulu and will die for Zulu ain't even educated or clear about why the hell they mask either.
Right.
Or what's the origins of the mask.
All right.
What's the origins of the mask by our ancestors that were brought here? The brother said if we are here now in existence and live every day like right now, then part of that is going back and reclaiming who our ancestors were. Part of our confusion in our organizing is that we're not clear about who we are. So part of the work that we gotta also do is go back and learn and get that information. This is the year of the return, 400 years later. Right now they're welcoming us to come back. But how many folks in Zulu Club know this? Because of the same public education system that destroyed damn near everybody here for generation after generation. So part of the organizing work is not taking away nothing that's been said in this conversation. I'm in total agreement with it all. But also part of it has to be proactive work to now plant some new damn seeds. Part of it is the education system. It's time to build systems and institutions that's owned and controlled by us for us with our best interests in mind. Where's that conversation? You know, but where's the space for it without white folks in the room and without white folks getting offended by it? You know what I'm saying? We got to create space and say, fuck everybody else and what you think about it. I'm tired of explaining, I'm tired of feeling guilty, I feel like I have to apologize. We need to be alone sometimes too, except for at a damn funeral. You know? So it's these kind of other kinds of conversations that has to happen as a part of that, but all of that got to be tied. My story really started about them hijacking my alma mater, Elsie Bullshit, right? And gave it to lunch. Right. But as I looked at the landscape of things coming back at Katrina, like this is a cultural story that's not told. It's not archived in the Library of Congress. It's not at LSU. It's not at Tulane. It's not at Berkeley. It's none of these different places where the history of New Orleans is kept at, right? But unlike the story of New Orleans marching bands, it's critical because every night you walk on Bourbon Street, there's the sounds of New Orleans there. And 9 times out of 10, that musician played in somebody's public school system. You know what I'm saying? Nobody knew the evolution of that process, how it even came out of it. Gospel experience, how it come out of the fields, how it come off those slave ships, those rhythm patterns that kept us and sustained us in our language, you know, that kind of thing there. So it became a greater story for me. And I'm like, well, damn, I have to tell a story about John Mack. He ain't come back either. I got to tell a story about Kennedy. So it became a massive story about all of the schools. And the only way to do it is to honor everybody in that, because that's one of the left out stories. It wouldn't be a Cash Money Records, for instance, had it not been for Elijah Bremer, the band director at Elsie Bullshit, training up Ronald Slim Williams, executive producer of a multi-million-dollar company, public school student. You know, it's not a cabinet student, it's not the middle class, it's not based on colorism, the light-skinned bourgeoisie, McDonald 35 kids, the way we was always divided up into these areas, historically here in New Orleans, right? These are folks right here. Grammy Award-winning Rebirth Brass Band come out of Clark. You know, stuff like this is not told in time. Our everyday working class citizens down in these hotels and restaurants and shit played in somebody's public school marching band, but they don't ever get lifted up. You have to be a politician, or you have to be a pastor, or some kind of dignitary to be recognized in that regard, you know. So the film is to really highlight that, and I'm not here to promote my film. I just wanted to say that a lot of the things that's always discussed, even in the community without the leadership, these conversations are constantly had, and what I'm learning is that's still Africa in us that we still hold on to present day through our ancestors. But we have to first understand it, reclaim it, and then do away with the things that's dehumanizing us in, such as the blackface. You know, and then claim the real mask. Like you said, have 100 brothers walk up the street wearing the mask, but know why, and know the origins of it. That way, when you do wear it, now you wear it educated and you wear it proud, and in defiance and in rebellion. You know, that sort of thing. You know, and that's your existence.
Let me also share another affirmation you said about the historical context and the history. So just probably 2 weeks ago, so some of y'all participated in Leon Waters' event in honor of the slave revolt of 1811. And there were 3 members of Zulu 2 weeks ago that said one of the issues that they had to contend with is that, and one of them has traveled to Ghana every year for the last 12 years. And as a member, came to the club and said, what we would like to do internally is coordinate for our brothers to actually take this trip so that we could understand. And then also there was a desire to coordinate a trip to actually visit the original Zulu people and have this conversation. And that was denied multiple times. We also know here in New Orleans, whether it be Malcolm, Leon, folks who give those hidden history tours, every single one of us as organizers, to include the Revolutionary Artists Weekend, have said all year long, throughout the year, we want to fill these buses up so that we can have this local history and look at this history in the context of where we are across the diaspora. Waters also takes folks on tours every year, and other places every year. Group of people took a trip to Martinique, took a trip to Haiti, taking trips so that we can make these connections, because our history is a global history, and our history does not begin at the lowest point of degradation. So if we're going to talk about it, we do have to do that. And I want to affirm one more time is that we don't want tonight's conversation to be it. We want to continue, and it's going to continue. So I'm going to stop here because I know it's late, and I know we want to continue to talk, but I want to honor the fact that we don't want this conversation to just be here in this room.
I have a question.
Please.
I heard on the film that Democrats were the slave owners. Then why are black people Democrats?
Because it's just
I don't get that part.
John Kennedy and Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was in jail down in Auburn, Georgia. And Kennedy arranged for him to get out of prison. That was the shift of black votes from the Republican Party to the Democratic Party.
That's why black people got Jesus and Kennedy up on the wall.
Okay.
So look, let me say this. Before you all leave, if you did not sign the sign-in sheet, please do. To stay connected with us, because we don't want you to leave the room missing. Plus, here, I'm gonna also tell you this stuff. This is not just conversation we have. We are organizing all year long. We got meetings on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for something. Al got on the People's Assembly shirt. Grassroots organizing efforts is coming out of there. The workers group is holding the Africa Rising Up forum that's on Sunday. And then come back here on Saturday night between 8 and midnight for the brass band blowout. You probably for the brass band blowout, because that night, that's a fundraiser to help facilitate the work of People's Assembly and money towards us helping us after school programs. So we're saying we can't just have this conversation and it stop here. All of the things in communities that we want, we can create. And we have to fund ourselves. We got the funds in our community. We've got to direct them the right way, right? This is right here. The Oya summer camp program. Good stuff for our children, but it's not going to happen by osmosis. We have to support our own efforts, and it's multi-layered. But this is not going to all be the conversation for tonight. So connect here if you want a ticket for Brass Band Blowout. Those are over there for $10. If you come that night, it's going to be $15 at the door. We got a lot of amazing things happening. Internet?
Us also has a summer camp program.
Yes. Okay. Good.
We got enough children in this
Let's go.
But I just want to make a quick announcement.
Yes.
Tuesday, May 14th, right here, we're going to have Black Cinema Night. We've been having
Yes.
Black
So good.
And the featured film is going to be Jump. It's about mental health. You know, because of all this oppression that we experience as a people, there's a lot of depression in our community. It starts young. So I think this will shed a light on a lot of it. Welcome all you to come out and speak.
When is that?
Tuesday, May 14th, right here.
All right.
At 7 p.m. Sure.
Good. A good
We're
building.
open at 6, but we start at 7.
And you can see, brother, you can feature your film if you want.
That's
To
right.
advertise on it.
That's right.
But it's not ready yet, probably won't be ready until, around this time next year, we're going to follow.
That's awesome.
Final exam and crime.
Can't wait to see it.
Get into the documentary.
It's a two-part series documentary. It began with the origins of our ancestry. And for folks who may not know, when you do the research, you learn that the majority of the largest population of black folks that came into Louisiana that is to do everything that's New Orleans is up and down. You know, and I just got back a week ago.
Yeah.
You know, so.
This is good. Thank you, everybody.
All right, Saturday, man, I know that we just sitting over there, man.
I gotta help clean up, so last one. It's gotta be the final hairstyle. Okay.
I'm gonna need all 3 hairstyles.
We're gonna need all of the hair things. Alright, all yours. Are you gonna do me like your troll doll?
No.
No? Do an up thing. Alright. You're pretty good at making ponytails, I have to say. Set it down. Oh, there.
You are listening.
That one. That one. Oh, I didn't see that one. Stick it in somewhere. Doesn't look good up.
One out of town.
All right.
I need to just use one of your haircuts.
No, you have the
Yeah, we got the one I gave you. I'm apparently going to be solved with all of your things. All right, it's the last one because I gotta help tear down. Okay? No. Who styles your hair? Is it your mom? She does a really beautiful job.
Sometimes you get it like a bunch.
No, I've seen you in all kinds of beautiful hairstyles now.
A lot of times
Got one more thing to put in. Yeah? Done. High five. I will. Let's go see it in the mirror. And then I gotta go. You'll help tear down? No. Yeah, I know. Well, I was like, definitely talk about it. There's so many. Literally perpetuate life. Like, it's one thing at some point in time. There's another thing that's the camera some songs different. It's like, oh my God.
Man, you gotta get on this show because he be